It's a long way to the top. If you want to rock and roll, you want to rock and roll? Driving on the highway, going to a show. Stopping on the byway, playing rock and roll. Getting round, getting stoned, getting beat up, throwing bone, getting high, getting shook. After your boots, it's harder than it looks. It's a long way to the top if you wanna rock and roll. It's a long way to the top if you wanna rock and roll. Ladies in the room on night stands, driving a rock roll band. It's a long way to the top if you wanna rock and roll.
Good evening, race fans. I'm your host, Caden Reif, and welcome to another installment of the 2005 season of the NASCAR Coca-Cola Cup Series. We're here from Kansas for round number 18 of 36 for the Tropicana 400. From some high bank intermediate racing coming your way in just a short few moments. But before we get to that action, it is going to be the starting lineup here tonight, with the 2-car of Kenny Wallace starting on pole for tonight's event, with Casey Kane in the 38 starting to his outside in second. Further down the rest of the order, as we look to the rest of the field, Kevin Harvick in the 29 will be starting in third place, with Kurt Busch in the 01 in fourth. Fifth place, last week's winner is Ricky Hendrick, and sixth, Johnny Sauter in the 68 with a nice qualifying run. He starts in row number 3. Seventh place will be Bobby Labonte in the 18, and Jamie McMurray side by side with him in the 40 in eighth. Ninth goes to Casey Atwood, and 10th will be Mike Bliss. 11th will be Christian Elder in the 0, with Ryan Newman starting to his outside in 12th. 13th goes to Matt Kenseth, and 14th, Robbie Gordon. Jeff Fultz, with a night's qualifying, he will be in 15th place, and 16th goes to Mayfield in the 48. 17th will be Kyle Busch, and 18th, Michael Waltrip. 19th will be Rudiman, and 20th is going to be Chad Little. 21st will go to Mark Martin, and 22nd will be Hank Parker Jr. 23rd place goes to Greg Biffle, and Jeff Gordon will start in 24th. 25th place will be Tony Stewart, and 26th Jack Sprague in the 33. 27th goes to Scott Riggs, and 28th to Jason Leffler. 29th will be Dale Jarrett, with Jeff Burton starting to his outside in 30th place. Eric Norris will be in 31st, and Scott Wimmer 32nd. Dale Earnhardt Jr. will restart in 33rd, and 34th will be John Wood in the 6th. 35th goes to Tony Raines in the 74, and Brian Vickers will be starting in 36th. 37th will be Skinner, 38th Edwards, 39th Marlin, 40th Todd Bodine, 41st will be John Andretti, and Dave Blaney rounds out the field in 42nd. We take you down to the racetrack for the most famous words in motorsports, as the command to fire the engines will be underway in just a few short seconds here.
Drivers, start your engines!
All those V8s roll to life here at Kansas. 81 laps the race length here tonight, And a look at the championship battle as that continues to develop. This is the first time that we've entered a race with Casey Kane not leading the points in quite a while. The 20 car of Tony Stewart took the top spot at the table after last week at Daytona. Enters this race just a few points ahead of Ricky Hendrick. 7 points between him and the 5, I believe, going into this race weekend.
You know, Ricky Hendrick is just broken out this season. He got 1 win earlier, and now he's gotten a second. Do you think we're about to see a blossom, and he's just going to start winning in bunches?
We'll find out as the green flag flies here from Kansas as they race towards turn 1 for the first time here today.
As Kevin Harvick takes it 3.
Off of turn number 2 for the first time. Harvick took it 3 wide for the lead there down into turn 1. Casey Kane drops down the order as a result. As they head through 3 and 4, it will be Wallace in the lead over the 29 of Harvick, who's going to look low off turn 4. Down the front stretch, Wallace will lead the opening lap from pole, but Harvick right on his back bumper across the start-finish line.
It was quite the wild start to the Busch race yesterday.
Contact in the back, in the wall! 20 of Tony Stewart, the points leaders in the fence. Caution flag is out.
Oh, good grief.
Big wreck early in the opening here.
Anything?
Skinner around, as well as the 43 of John Andretti. Dale Earnhardt Jr. involved in a lot of back markers in it as well. As they round turn 4, Kevin Harvick in the 29 will have the lead at the caution flag, and we are under yellow quickly. Points leader Tony Stewart in the wall early. Just looking like a stack up here with all these guys on the apron. Look like a car got the wall. That would be the 00 of Michael Waltrip, who got in the fence. We saw an accident with him in the wall just a few races, not even a few races ago, excuse me. That was in the Busch race this weekend. Sprague was in the fence up there, and it looked like, yeah, Biffle trying to get by. Probably got a clear call there, and he went straight into the 20 of Stewart. Waltrip back in it as well, those two into the wall, and then they continued to wreck further up the order as Dale Jr. slipped up the racetrack. They were all on the apron trying to get around that one. The 33 of Sprague was around in the back as well. Man, Todd Bodine was so close to getting through that, but just couldn't quite slow up for the 14 of Leffler, who was in it as well. Seeing a couple more guys as well. Jeff Burton was involved in that crash. Jeff Gordon got a little tiny piece of it. Dale Jr. around, of course.
Whoa there. I think Eric Norris deserves a kudos for keeping that car straight.
Absolutely, he does. That thing was all over the place with the 8 of Junior into him there. A nice save by the 51 to get away with that with nothing more than a dent in the left door. Pit stops here and a lot of chaos in the pit lane. Goodness gracious, that was Vickers there. Clearing around the 51 of Norris. Problems everywhere so far in this one here tonight as they leave the pit lane. A look up the order, looking like the leader after the pit cycle is going to remain the 2 of Wallace. Not sure he did go down the pit lane. So a little bit of split strategy here. Some taking tires, some not, but the 2 will retake the lead after losing it on the start there. We'll take you to intermission. A wild, wild opening to this race. And a lot more racing left to go here from Kansas, lap number 4 of 81 under caution.
I see a
Back from intermission here at Kansas after the early yellow. Kenny Wallace, your leader. Harvick, Hendrick, Labonte, and Robbie Gordon, your top 5 after that escapade on the initial start there. But regardless, back under green, a good start from Harvick as he pulled right up to the bumper and looks to the outside as they head towards turn 1. And a bit of a switcheroo as he goes down to the bottom.
That 29's got a good set of wheels on it.
Great start for Harvick, who retakes the lead once again as they head down towards turn 3, and the 29's got the top spot once again. Labonte trying to follow through in the back as well as they head side by side for second off of turn 4. Everybody trying to keep their head on straight after that start. And looking normal so far. Labonte pulls up into second ahead of Wallace in the 2 as they head down the backstretch. Got a bit of a run on Harvick, but stays in line for now as they enter turn 3. Kane still facing adversity as he's side by side with the 17 of Kenseth for what is P9, I believe. And stays in front of the 17 as they enter turn 1.
Okay.
There.
New leader?
Battle for the lead continues. Here's Labonte on the inside of the 29 for P1 as they round 3 and 4. And the 18 car has got the top spot here on lap number 9 and takes his first lap lead of the day. Still a bunch of cars under a blanket for this top spot. Robbie Gordon joins this mix and very nearly makes contact with Wallace as the 2 cut him down into turn 1. Managed to get away with it as he takes away third. Now looks for second on Harvick. 2 teammates for second place, but Harvick gets clear on that outside line. Here's Ricky Hendrick trying to split the needle there on the 2 and the 01. He got underneath Kenny Wallace for the 4th spot. Looking for more on Robbie Gordon. But looking like the 31 is going to get clear on the outer line, and does. But Hendrick's still up a spot over the 2. All of the top 10 in this mix here for the race lead. Harvick and Labonte putting a bit of a buffer to the rest of this group as they start to run away here.
It's all about just managing the race here. You've already got some interesting strategies. Some people with pressure tires, some people without pressure tires. How much of a factor do you think that's playing into this?
It played in a little bit in yesterday's race in that Busch race, and of course, again, it's going to play a factor here today, especially given that this track is very hard on tires, one of the fastest tracks on the calendar, and of course, averaging lap times of upwards of 185, maybe even 190 miles an hour on the fresh stuff. But still going to be a factor that will play into this run more and more as we go on. Battle for the lead continues. Here is Harvick trying to mount a counterattack on Labonte for first. As these two go side by side down the front stretch and into turn 1, and Kevin Harvick will retake the race lead. Top 4 or 5 now under a blanket here for the lead now, with Kurt Busch backing up this group as well as Ryan Newman in the mix. Kane still falling backwards in the 38 car, going to get a checkup on the back end of the field here. That is Jeff Fultz in the wall in the 32. Everybody getting around him okay. Everybody's still a part of the pack here. Whether you want to be or not, that is the nature of how Kansas races. And everybody who is in that wreck still in the race and looking like they're all going to meet minimum speed. Ricky Hendrick has moved into the second place in the 5 car, ahead of Labonte in the 18, and now has his sights set hardcore on the 29 with a stellar 1 and 2. Look to the inside, although that run died out on corner exit. Harvick stays in front of him. And now gets to the inside off of turn 4. Side by side for the lead is the 29 and 5. And Ricky Hendrick is into the race lead here on lap number 17.
No real contest from the 29 there.
That 5 car has been a man on a mission in the midpoint in the summer months of this season. Has 2 wins in the last 3 races. And looking to make it 3 and 4 as he sits in front of the 29. Harvick not letting him up, though, and he's going to look low into 1, but unable to get the nose all the way underneath there as Hendrick keeps him at bay. Harvick trying to set him up for another attempt at a counterattack. Top 5 or 6 still staying fairly close here through this first run. Third place still pretty close as Kurt Busch with a big run on Bobby Labonte for the 3rd spot. And now the battle for the lead as well as Harvick will try to retake P1 and almost got clear, but couldn't quite keep the throttle in. Hendrick staying tight around the outside, still side by side as they head down the backstretch. That puts Kurt Busch up into this battle in the 3rd place spot. Still side by side, and Hendrick powers back around the outside, and the 5 holds the race lead.
That's kind of the thing that we notice a lot, is that the longer we get in these runs, the better and better the high line get. The groove seems to move up the track a little bit.
Yeah, that outer line does work a little bit better for defense when the tires get a little bit of age on them, and as you can see, Hendrick holding off the 29, Kurt Busch hanging tight with Labonte, although it looks like the 18 is going to get him for the 3rd spot as he fights with Robbie Gordon. No, Busch still sticking around that top lane, pestering the 18. It is a tight battle for this 3rd spot as Robbie Gordon thought about taking it 3 wide, but didn't quite have enough brake to get in there, and Labonte now clear of the 01 off of turn 4. Harvick still right in the tire tracks of Ricky Hendrick in the 5. Quarter of this race completed now.
And they're running about 0.8 of a second slower than their top times at this moment.
Yeah,
and that becomes the big question: is when does it become? Where does the curve end? Where getting 4 tires will actually be a net benefit to you?
It's a tough question for sure, and we'll get the answer to that soon. Meanwhile, Ricky Hendrick just about put the block on Harvick for the lead and is still holding him off. Matt Kenseth has climbed the order so far through this run. He moves all the way up into 3rd. Ahead of the 18 of Bobby Labonte. Still mostly the same faces in the top 10. A nice run by Christian Elder, who sits in the 10th spot in the 0 car. Has looked mighty fine on this longer run, as well as Casey Atwood, who's hung around the back end of the top 10 most of the time as well. Casey Kane's collapse has plateaued. He continues to run in the 12th spot. Pretty much everyone else staying about the same. With drivers coming and going so far in this one. Kenseth has looked very quick on the longer run, has pretty much shot his way through the entirety of the top 10. Now has his sights set on the race leaders, but it is going to be no easy task for him as Ricky Hendrick throws a big block on Kevin Harvick for the lead. But the 29 gets underneath him as they enter turn 1 side by side. Hendrick trying to fight around the outside as he did a handful of laps prior. Harvick with a good exit. They remain side by side down the backstretch and into turn 3. Harvick trying to dive in underneath. Hendrick trying to stay tight around the outside. And Hendrick once again holds him off on the outer line.
Are you maybe thinking that some of the resources from the 48 may have gone to the 5?
Tell you what, they've looked a lot better over the last few weeks and have put together a championship-esque run so far this year. Up front, Ricky Hendrick with the gap now as Harvick a little rattled after that battle. He's got Kenseth, Robbie Gordon, and Kurt Busch all up the back bumper. The top 5 apart from Ricky Hendrick all pretty close here still. Jamie McMurray's found his way up the order as well so far through this run. A nice run for him as well. Up front, Hendrick in the lead and has been comfortable up front so far today with some masterful defense out of the back of that 5 car. But Harvick, not one to back down.
Did both Harvick and Hendrick take tires on that last yellow?
Get a check on that. Looking. Might need to just go back to the video for you to get this right. No tires on the 5, and I'm assuming none on the 29. That I would like to go back and fact check. Yep, fuel only for all these guys. That's the case for pretty much all these leaders. Robbie Gordon, Matt Kenseth also on no tires, Kurt Busch none as well, and given how early that pit stop was, not a surprise. A couple of pitters here, just one in the form of David Rudiman making a very short pit. Lap number 29 he comes in. All the leaders
29:58.81. 29:58. It would be. It is a 2-stop play.
Carl Edwards into the pits as well, and now we'll start seeing some pitters as 16 of Greg Biffle comes in as well. Biffle, I'm not sure how much longer he'll be on the racetrack, missing that Hood. Bliss and Wallace in as well as a couple of the front runners. All the leaders still on the racetrack. The whole top 5 hasn't come in yet. Just a couple of early takers.
I mean, after the chaos we saw on pit road under yellow, I really wouldn't want to be on pit road with a whole group of people.
Yeah, not a surprise that it's at least a little bit spread out, though. Ricky Hendrick with the hand out the window, and the 5's going to come in here. That splits up all these guys who are fighting with him for the lead. Hendrick's going to defend the undercut and pits early. Lap number 31 for the 5 team. Kevin Harvick has retaken the race lead as a result. Bunched up that top 4, thanks to Hendrick having to get down to the bottom of the racetrack, and those guys to cut him some slack. Kurt Busch looking for the lead as well. Harvick's going to come in. Kurt Busch looking like he's going to stay out.
If you can push this car out 2 more laps, you start getting into the ballpark of being able to skip that final pit stop. Because as it stands right now, you're probably going to see people pitting about lap 50 to 58 and another group of people right at the end of the race. Somewhere around lap 72 to 78.
Tell you what, Jamie McMurray right on the heels of the 5 of Ricky Hendrick as they leave pit road. A really good pit stop by that 40 team, who jumped up quite a long way. The undercut for David Rudiman worked substantially as well, as he's up amongst this group that was in the group for the race lead. We'll see where we come out here relative to that 5 car as Harvick now leaves his pit. I believe the 5 is going to be close.
363.
And looking like a great pit stop there by Harvick. Ooh, contact. Robbie Gordon got into the 5 as they left the pits. Hendrick and Robbie not cutting each other enough slack. And the 29 of Kevin Harvick has taken the race lead. Not the greatest of pit stops from the 5 team there, as the 29 now has the race lead as Kurt Busch and Labonte leave the pits. Couple of new faces up front. Carl Edwards with the shortcut as well has joined this group in the top 10. David Rudiman jumps up the order thanks to his earlier pit stop. We'll see how it pays off for him on the longer run, but so far looking nice at the moment. Thinking that nobody is going to really be taken off at the track due to minimum speed here. Biffle has had not too bad of a run given the fact that he is missing the hood of his race car. Has been around 30th place after the early accident. So So not a bad run from the 16, given the circumstances. A lot of guys with damage. Here's a battle for the lead. Ricky Hendrick trying to get that top spot back from the 29 of Harvick.
He's got fresher tires and a faster car, so...
Faster car, fresher tires, and the bottom lane on the early run. Although Harvick not giving up yet. They're going to remain side by side off of turn 4. Dead even at the line. Harvick had the lead by a smidge over the 5. Can Hendrick clear in this time through 1 and 2? The 5 has got the lead back. Ricky Hendrick back to the top spot. Just checking up on the back group here. Kenseth fell down the order quite a ways as well. Looking like the longer pit stop lost these guys quite a lot of time, but we'll see how much they pick up on the longer run with how much this track likes to eat tires. Approaching halfway, Ricky Hendrick still up front. Harvick has been nipping at his heels the entire race. These two looking like the cars to beat here tonight. Robbie Gordon's also had a pretty good race car as well. McMurray in 4th, and the battle for 5th is between the two Penske teammates as Wallace and Newman are side by side for that spot.
And we still have to take into account the fact that this race could very easily be a fuel mileage race.
Potentially, though, I would imagine that with the pit stop strategy, they'll probably be pitting around the early to mid 60s, which means that it'll be about a 15-lap run to the end of the race. So it's a long, long way for the fuel. I wouldn't put it entirely out of the window, but I don't think that's going to be the focus for these drivers right now.
I mean, you also have to take into account the fact that a lot of these people popped off on fuel on lap 4.
Which would bring
so
the
that
pit window around to the late 50s to early 60s, which still isn't quite a full run. The full run was about 30 to 35. So I wouldn't be so sure, but we'll find out. Only a couple laps into that. It was lap 2 or 3 when they came into the pits at the start, so we'll find out. But again, right now, I don't think that's on the minds of these two drivers right now, as Hendrick and Harvick still fight for the lead. 29 has been on the tail of Ricky Hendrick the entirety of this race. And now with pressure behind again, as Robbie Gordon's been closing in from 3rd. Big run on his teammate there with the higher line off of turn number 4, and Robbie Gordon dives it all the way to the bottom. Here's the two Childress drivers, and Robbie Gordon takes 2nd place.
I believe Robbie Gordon has fresher tires than the both of them.
Yeah, I do think Robbie even if only a lap or 2 later.
Even if only a lap or 2 fresher tires, that could be all the difference.
Could be, and Robbie's been looking for a chance to bump himself up in the point standings going into these race weekends around the halfway mark in this season. He's been mired in the middle of the top 15 the entirety of this season since the Daytona 500 win. It's been a bit of a struggle, but has been looking a little better recently, now in 2nd place with a great run so far today. One of the faster cars on the racetrack has been in the top 5 pretty much all day. Jamie McMurray's also been pretty quick here tonight as well. A couple of drivers looking for some breakouts, especially that 40 car who's been so close to a win so many times. Battle for 5th is between Wallace and Busch, 2-0-1. Jeff Gordon has been silently in the back end of the top 10 pretty much this entire race. Pretty much all of these faces up in the front group from about all the way back to Casey Kane have stayed the same for most of this race. And it seems that we have our set group of drivers that are going to be up front at the end of this thing, barring any cautions or mix-ups throughout this race. But this top 4 all by themselves right now. Hendrick, Gordon, Harvick, and McMurray all up front.
McMurray has really shown some flashes of what everyone thought he was going to be.
It's been a great couple race weekends recently, and overall this season McMurray has had a great run up to this point in the year. It seems like it's just gotten better and better. He was so close at Richmond, got close a couple times at a couple other races. He's been seeking that first win for quite a while. He's talked about it, that he wants to get that first win. but the points are important for him as well as the victories, and so far it's been a great season for the 40 team and Ganassi as a whole. Both of their cars in the top 5 right now, as Kurt Busch just made the overtake on Wallace for 5th place, and Kurt Busch is going to look to join his teammate in this front group, but so far still just these 4 up front. Harvick and Gordon traded places in 2nd and 3rd once again a couple laps ago. Harvick got a run on the 5 for the lead, but couldn't quite get underneath him again. Hendrick has placed that Bank of America Chevrolet perfectly so far, but Harvick's got a run off of turn 4. Can he get the nose underneath this time? Yes, he can. Down the front stretch, side by side once again. Can Hendrick power around the outside this time? Had to get out of the gas just a little bit. Harvick pulling ahead down the backstretch. Robbie Gordon looks to try and take the lead himself. Backed out, though, and cut Harvick some slack, and the 29 has got the race lead back here at Kansas.
And the cat and mouse game continued.
It's been these two all day, but definitely not the only drivers with race-winning speed in this one tonight. All of his top 4 so close. Kurt Busch has been running faster than all 4 of them the last couple laps as he closes in with the draft. Draft is important at this track with such high speed and not a whole lot of lifting until at least later in the run. Not surprising that Kurt Busch is starting to pick up some speed, as well as Kenny Wallace, who is at least a little bit faster, but Kurt definitely with all the draft. Meanwhile, the lead battle continues. Hendrick's back underneath the 29 again. Dead heat down the backstretch. They stay side by side as they enter turn 3. Harvick with the bigger entry. Clear for a moment, and now he's the one showing the muscle on the outside as he's back clear of the 5 once again. Robbie Gordon trying to get underneath for 2nd. Hendrick tried to cut the nose down low, couldn't quite stay in front of him.
Busch making a move on his teammate.
Battles everywhere as the 01 tries to get around the 40. They stay side by side. Robbie Gordon's clear for 2nd for the moment, though. Hendrick's going to stick the nose back under to the outside. But Robbie Gordon gets clear, and it is an RCR 1-2 now as they sit in front of the 5 of Hendrick off of turn 4 with 30 laps to go. All day and all night it has been these few for the race lead, especially Harvick and Hendrick, though Robbie's been lurking behind him pretty much all day. Harvick got a little bit of a better exit that time and holds off the 31 for now. Lap traffic coming up in the form of Jeff Fultz in the 32. A couple more in front as well, namely the 8 and the 99, as well as the 23 of Scott Wimmer, so a couple cars going to get lapped soon. This battle up front continues. Here's Hendrick back underneath both the 31 and the 29. Harvick got clear of Hendrick down into turn 3, so it's just the 31 and 5 as well as the 01 of Kurt Busch. McMurray started to drop off of this group a little bit. Robbie Gordon down to 4th place. Hendrick dives it underneath the 29 for the lead again, down into turn 1. These two side by side one more time. It's a battle of who can stay in the throttle. And Ricky Hendrick has got his lead back. Kurt Busch side by side with Harvick for 2nd place. Side by side down the front stretch between those two for the runner-up spot. Kurt Busch, not a lot of room to work with, kind of in the dirty air of the 5, but still hanging strong on the inside. Harvick not giving up just yet. They're going to remain door to door as they enter turn 3. Harvick with the harsher entry. And he is going to get back clear around the outside and holds on to 2nd place. A little bit of separation after the tight battles there between this top 4. McMurray not out of this
but not a
yet.
lot of separation between the 5 and the lap traffic.
Fultz about to get lapped by Hendrick here as he pulls down low down the backstretch. You gotta hope you catch him at the right time. He's gonna go side by side with Fultz. Harvick right there behind the 32 as well. Though kind of got checked up by the dirty air. Kurt Busch thought about going low and is going to go low as they head towards turn number 1. Harvick gets into the back bumper of Fultz and pushes him out of the way. 3 wide in turn 2 as they leave the corner, but Kurt Busch up into second place, but Harvick not wasting any time getting the message across to the 32 team.
A masterful piece of racecraft by Kurt Busch there.
Absolutely pit stop once again, as it is going to be David Rudiman pulling into the pits. Again, making it a shortcut. New challenger for Ricky Hendrick, as Kurt Busch was right on the back bumper, though he got really checked up in the outwash there. Pit stop's about to take place once again. Hendrick stays on the track. Thought he was going to pit there, but did not go in just yet. Greg Biffle in. Carl Edwards, one of the front runners who's been pitting early, comes in as well, and will try to pick up some time with the shortcut one more time. Can imagine the 5 will have his hand out the window this lap. And he will. Ricky Hendrick into the pit lane from the race lead. Dale Jarrett lap car right in front of him might have got him checked up a little bit. Jamie McMurray in as well. Gordon, Newman, Little, and others into the pits here. Kurt Busch inherits the race lead just outside 20 to go. And he's been one of the ones that's been going long on these runs, so he will stay out once again. Harvick and Robbie Gordon, second and third, will come into the pit lane here with the 23 car in the way just a little bit. Yeah, it's going to hurt them a little bit there. Tell you, the one man who is going to be loving the fact that he stayed out as long as he did this time, despite the lap time difference on the fresher tires. Kurt Busch is going to have no lap traffic as he comes into the pits here. Absolutely no impediment into the pit lane for the 01 car of Kurt Busch as he comes in from
as
the
well
race
as
lead.
fresher tires in the field.
Yeah, fresher tires on a longer run could be important, though it won't quite be a full fuel run. It'll be close. So he'll be able to take full advantage. And tell you what, damage on the back of the 31 of Robbie Gordon, who's still in the pit lane. Get a check up. Ooh. Actually got ran into twice. Oh, ran into by the 06 car of Martin, and Fultz involved in it as well.
And then Fultz decides to hit him again.
Yeah, Fultz got him again, leaving the pits.
I don't think NASCAR is going to be very happy about that.
Definitely
After
not.
he got moved by the 31 earlier, made his displeasure extremely well known, and I don't think NASCAR has been known to tolerate tomfoolery in the pits like that.
Definitely not. Problem, and then the 32's got a tire down now. Slow on the backstretch, and he is looking like he's going to have to bring it to a stop.
And I think that's the carcass coming off on the track.
Yeah, big damage there. Let's get a look real fast. Ooh, yeah, I got into it as Newman had to get checked up for him, and that was a bit of contact, so that is going to be a caution here. Gonna have to wait for the leaders to come around again. And that's gonna bunch everybody right back up. Hendrick had a huge lead after that group of pit stops.
And I don't think there's a single man on this track happier to see that 32 around than Kurt Busch.
Jamie McMurray will take second in the 40 car here on lap number 64 as we are under caution. Carl Edwards' shortcut paid some dividends. He's in fourth place. Harvick now in fifth. Rudiman up the order as well. He sits seventh place. This will be good for the guys who pit earlier, given the fact that they are going to have less time for the guys on the newer tires to catch him back up. The 23 of Scott Wimmer will be awarded the lucky dog here, so that'll split the only lap car amongst the main leaders out of this group. as everybody's going to stay out here. It'll be inside 15 to go on the restart with Ricky Hendrick, the dominant car of the day, in the lead. We'll be right back here from Kansas with the 5 in the lead. It'll be around 15 to go on the restart. We'll take you to intermission and be right back here from the Tropicana 400. Back from intermission here at Kansas. Ricky Hendrick trying to hold on to this win, the dominant car here tonight. He's got Jamie McMurray hungrier than anyone in second place right behind him. Kurt Busch will restart in third. Carl Edwards with the stellar pit stop will be in fourth in the 97. Kevin Harvick rounds out the top 5. The rest of the top 10 goes Gordon, Rudiman, Wallace, and then Labonte and Chad Little, the top 10, as the pace car will peel off inside the final 15 laps. It'll be 14 laps to go here, and we are back under green as they head into the restart box. An even start from the 3 leaders as they head off towards turn number 1. Hendrick holds on to the top spot, if only for a moment, though. Kurt Busch looked underneath McMurray, but could not get the nose in there. See if the Ganassi guys are going to try to set him up here off of turn 4. A good run by McMurray. He's going to go low. Hendrick tried to block. Not clear is the 5. Here is Jamie McMurray for the race lead. Kurt Busch all the way up top back there, and McMurray has got the lead.
Now that is teamwork right there. Kurt Busch takes the outside away from Ricky Hendrick.
This battle's not over, though. McMurray left the bottom open. Here's Hendrick back underneath with the run down towards turn 1. Side by side once again between these two. Kurt Busch going to go underneath. McMurray on top. Kurt Busch down low. Ricky Hendrick's got the lead back. McMurray with the run off of turn 4, although he had to get out of the gas just a little bit. The two Ganassi teammates are still side by side for second as Hendricks pulling away with the lead. Busch has got McMurray for second place now. They're going to trade spots in third and second. Busch now has his sights set on one of his championship rivals as Hendricks sits in the lead. The run by Busch down the front stretch. Hendricks going to block him. 10 laps to go here from Kansas. It is any one of these guys' game right now.
I believe an attaboy is in order for Chad Little. I think I just saw him leading that third group back there.
Sits in ninth in the 28 car. A good run from him tonight. McMurray all the way up top, trying to find some grip to catch these race leaders. Kurt Busch is looking for a way to get around the 5 of Ricky Hendrick and take this race away. He's got to run out of turn 2. He's going to look low. Down towards turn 3. Hendrick stays clear. McMurray still running a lane or so higher, trying to find some grip on corner exit. Kurt Busch again with a run out of turn 2, but couldn't quite get underneath. Died out as he got to the back bumper. They're still nose to tail through 3 and 4. Hendrick pulls away a little bit on corner exit. McMurray and Harvick sit in the catbird seat. Edwards still with the top 5. Not too far behind as well. But these guys might need these leaders to battle if they want to be pulled back up into this thing. Again, off of turn 2, Kurt Busch trying to just dart it down there, but seems to bleed speed every time he does. And Hendrick again drives away from him on corner entry. Put a gap to him that time. But Busch might be a little bit faster. It's just about timing it up and finding him in the right spot of the racetrack. I think off turn 4 is going to be where it needs to happen, but Hendrick has been so much better off of turn 4 pretty much every single time. Bit of a gap between the two leaders with 5 laps to go. Kurt Busch is running out of time. Experimenting with the lines a little bit again. He ran higher that time through and lost time as Hendrick pulls away. Battle for third between Harvick and McMurray. Bobby Labonte's joined this group. Edwards' tires have finally started to wear out as he drops backwards. Harvick takes third. This thing is anything but over as they have just 3 laps to go now. Kurt Busch is not giving up on this thing yet. They're still so close. Busch has got the run again out of turn 2, but he had to check up just a tiny little bit. Hendrick pulls away with Busch having to get out of the throttle. Can Hendrick hold him off? 2 laps to go now. Two of the Cup Series best up front. Busch a smidge faster off of turn 2 that last time. If he's going to get him, it's going to have to be this next time by, and he's going to have to surmount the disadvantage off of turn 4, which he did this time by with the run down the front stretch. One last lap. Busch to the inside in turn 1. The 2 leaders side by side on the last lap. Kurt's got him! Down the backstretch, the 01 is clear for the lead on the last lap! What a turn of events! Through 3 and 4 for the final time. Does Hendrick have anything for him? Off of turn 4, Kurt Busch steals it! What a win, and the 01 team takes the victory here at Kansas. What a finish!
Only one lap led, but it was the only one that mattered.
Hadn't been up front aside from pit cycles all day, and Kurt Busch on the last lap finally made it work off of turn 4, found the grit for it, dove it past, and Hendrick could not stay in the gas, and Kurt Busch steals it here at Kansas. What a finish. Give me a replay of that move on the last lap one more time. For a moment there, it looked like Hendrick might have had the run coming there off of turn 2, but just a little bit too much on the grip and did not have enough for it. Had to get out of the throttle to keep it out of the wall. Man, what a move.
I think Ricky just used all of his stuff. You could see him coming off of 4 on coming to the white. He got real loose real loose.
Yeah, you could see it. That thing came up off the bottom. Kurt Busch had so much of a better exit. He tried to block him. Busch timed it perfectly. Talked about Hendrick was so much better off of turn 4 for all of that run. Every single time Busch's run came off of 2, and that wasn't the place where he could make the move. And he finally put together a good turn 4, and it was absolutely perfect. And on the last lap, he stole it from him. Hendrick was so close to making another run at him, but just didn't quite have the grip for it, and the later pit stop works for Kurt Busch. His car finally comes alive at the end of the run, and he wins it here at Kansas. It was so close between those two the entire time on that last run. What an effort, and Kurt Busch never gave up on it, and he puts Ganassi to bed. Winners here from Kansas. Just an absolutely stellar finish here, all the way down to the last lap. What a finish. That will do it here from Kansas as Kurt Busch sends Ganassi home. Winners just about took that thing from the 5 team. It was so close all the way down to the wire. Thought Hendrick might have had a run back at him, but he could not get back to Kurt Busch. And the 01 team wins it here from Kansas. That will be their second win this year. Hendrick should be taking the championship lead, but Kurt Busch edges ever closer to that 5 car and puts himself right in the middle of the fray again as he takes the checkered flag. We'll catch you next time. It'll be round number 19 of the season from Loudon for the New England 300. I'm Caden Reif with Braden joining me in the booth tonight. A big thanks to him. We'll catch you then, and as always, have a good one.
It's a long way to the top.